Hey everyone, back again. Welcome back to again another review. This time, everyone, we are going to be doing once again another stream. As I mentioned at the end of the prior stream that I did yesterday, this is a follow-up to the whole situation with Richard Jordan and his deceit and such and whatnot. But thanks to a good friend of mine, I am pleased to announce a special guest who will who will talk about his own experience, in a sense, with Jordan and his perspective on the whole situation. And with that being said, I would like to introduce you to all the following person that has agreed to join me in whatnot. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for the legend himself, the TSMU fan. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Good morning, everybody. This is the TSMU fan here. I just had to do that.
That's okay.
Since that's
Yes.
what I start all my videos with.
Oh yes, yes. So yes,
Yes, this is me, the TSMU fan, in the flesh.
yep. No AI, no whatnot. This is the real deal.
Yeah, I figured I'd come in and I'd say my own stuff about the whole situation, since I of course have like experience with like Richard Jordan and all that.
Of course.
So the thing is that like I've been like using trains for like a really long time. I actually have like trains 2009. Surprisingly enough, I've had that since I was a kid, and I used to have the old Sodor Island 3D models, like the ones that were the really. I think I had the baked models actually, the ones that were released around like 2009, I think.
Oh, the '09 models.
Yeah, I think those are the baked models.
I
Yeah,
think you're right. Yeah.
I've had those models ever since I was a kid, and I remember I could never get some of them working.
Yeah, they have all those interesting errors like faulty face textures or
Or
missing
missing
dependencies
dependencies.
or whatnot.
That's the main problem that I was struggling with. Like I could not get the missing dependencies back then as a kid. So I just couldn't like get the models to work. I got Thomas to work just fine, so that's pretty cool.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I remember downloading those older models and using them for and just playing around with them and all that. But anyway, that's besides the point. Like the thing is that I've like been with Soda Island 3D since pretty much its early days. So seeing that like seeing this come up was a total shock.
It shocked all of us.
Like I just can't believe it.
Neither could I.
Like because Sodor Island 3D is like a main staple of the trains community. You've got the 3D faced models, which of course like are the ones that people mostly use. Like there's like Daisy and the all of those models that like Thomas 1 Edward 2 Henry 3's used in his videos before.
Of
And
course.
And of course, you've got the Island of Sodor route that they made, which of course has been used in a ton of videos. I've used it in mine because it's a really good route, and it's like it's not perfect. There's of course like a lot of locations missing, and there could have been more if there had been like more like updates. But it's just
Oh yeah.
that it's just that there's been so much content from this website. Like there's of course a bunch of assets that people have used in their routes, like building assets, and all that. And just like the fact that all of these like building assets are like associated like with this like I don't think Scarlowy 123 was like exactly like made those assets, but it's still associated because it's like Soda Island 3D all started with Skarloey 123, if that makes sense.
Well, he was one of the pioneers of SI3D. Of
Yeah.
course, namely there was also Sean O'Connor, Cam Scott.
Yeah,
Um,
Sean O'Connor. I think he was the ones who made like those the 3D models or whatever, I don't know.
he was part of it, yeah, because like, and of course, like after, because of course that's 30, and then of course that evolved into other train sites that, like for example, like Modern Wester 3D, sort of workshops,
Mhm.
Marvelous Mainland Works,
Yeah,
the
and
Stuttering Industries.
yes, and
Uh,
Soda Island 3D pretty much kicked all of that off. That's where everything started, and then of course content just keeps getting better. I think Callum Walker was a part of Soda Island 3D as well. That comment says.
yes, he's now a part of Wardleton Studios' series.
But yeah, Soda Island 3D is basically like where the whole like concept of a train site even like started pretty much.
Yeah,
Because
like,
I don't think that, well, besides the MST noodle models, I don't think that there was really any other Thomas models out there.
no, there wasn't. Like there was just the MS2 noodle models, and then SI3D came about in 2006, and then sure enough, around the same time, that's when YouTube was born. Um, so it's like it's crazy, like how far we've come. I mean, now of course, now Richard Jordan, of course, yes, he made all, or he was part of making those models, but of course contributed to the one OC that a lot of people have used in their videos, 98462, Alfred.
Oh, yes, Alfred.
And
Oh, my friend
now,
Greg in the backstage just want to let you know.
oh yeah, of course, of course. I'm gonna put him in here just in a second here. I was gonna say, like, because I know some people have written Alfred out of their series completely. Some have kept him on. Um,
Mm,
it's just like, then of course, like a lot of, and some people, it's been divided. Some people have separated the art from the artist. Others have just scrapped Alfred completely, and it's basically up to anyone's interpretation at this point, like with how they're going to use Alfred essentially. So,
yeah. I've
but yeah,
personally never really used him, but
Hello.
I've definitely used a lot of the routes. Oh, hey, there he is.
Hello.
There you are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Train Lover 123, and yes. Oh, I can convince me I was the only person when seeing the 2006 SI3D models was like, "Wow, these look like the models, or these look like the models from the show." Yeah, that seems about right. Iowa Sodor Film Studios.
well,
Also,
Sutter
there's a
Industries
little.
can
Models
say otherwise.
are those the 2D faced ones?
I
Yeah,
think they might
the
be.
the chameleon scripted '06 Thomas models that, but
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Also, there's a little thing that TSMU was gonna remind me to say, and there was
Oh,
one
boy.
like Thomas meme. There was one Thomas meme that was from T1E2H3's Alfred videos. It was basically like, "Oh, Gordon Henry, you have a very important passenger, and it's Lucifer," and then he gets changed off the switches. Curse you, Alfred Hitchcock!
That was perfect. You nailed that.
I've always wanted to do
Perfection.
that. Oh my god. Also, I was gonna say this because I was in the backstage. ACC01D Productions. Brandon will put the stream link whenever he gets a chance. Just please be patient.
I got
Also,
it.
what's
Don't
up,
worry.
Napford Studio?
Well,
Excuse me.
that's now of course, like Now, of course, some people
I'm
have.
gonna be honest. The SI3D for me personally kind of look a bit old and out of date. No offense. None taken.
Now, I will say
Yeah.
this: some models. Now, funny enough, a lot of people have used like SI3D's Terrence the Tractor, and I've seen
Yeah.
that still in many people's videos. But now, just recently, Wilder Western released his model of Terrence, Railway Series style. It looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Like that's the whole thing that I've been talking about. Like, there's a lot of Soda Island 3D models that, like, especially like the 3D face models, like Terrence, Daisy, that like not a whole bunch of other sites have made as 3D face models. So like those ones you have to use the Soda Island 3D models for.
Yes. Now, I mentioned the Sundering Industries. A lot of them, a lot of the models have, especially like the Thomas models that they made, they pretty much have 3D faces, and you can actually have the ability to move their eye direction in game like this. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just rewatched the stream on YouTube. My microphone was so perfect.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, you're not run there in Effort Studios. Like that's
Oh,
basically that's pretty cool. Like because Wilder Western basically base his models off the Railway series and not the television series, which is pretty cool.
Hello, Gotcha 2 or 2003.
Hey, Luca.
Oh, that's Luca. Okay. Hey, hello, Trans Iron Horse 25. TSMU, you're going to be seeing a lot of people you either don't know or do know in the community. Just telling you right now.
Okay.
Brandon has good contact with a lot of people in the fandoms and the workshops and stuff. So
Yes, over the years I've met some incredible people. In fact, I'm even a part of people's series voice acting for respective universes.
And in case you were wondering, this is Brandon Optimus 55. If that name sounds familiar, that's who this is. TSMU.
I don't think I recognize that.
He's done voice. He's voiced a couple characters. Haven't you voiced a couple characters in I don't know, maybe didn't you voice something for Victor Tanzik, Brandon?
I proposed the idea to Victor Tanzik for the episode Spectre back in season 2. So
oh my gosh,
thanks to
really?
me, yep, thanks to me, Spectre became an instant success. I know people have mixed opinions on Victor nowadays, but still, I've also voice acted for 22 Tesla's Tales from the Scrap Sightings, Fantastic Mr. S's universe, and NWO Adventures as Donald Douglas and Sir Topham Hatt, and many others.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. And a few others.
Also, Brandon, I thought I'd just mention this. Yeah, you can already see it in his profile picture, but the TSMU has the way he made his channel name. It's so awesome. I mean, his channel name is called the Thomas Sonic Mario and Undertale fan. That's such an awesome name.
Yeah, basically just took the 4 things that I like the most, combined them together, and made my username.
Oh wait, let me read that. Hold on, let me read that, Brandon. I think why I thought the 2006 SI3D models look like the ones from the show, maybe because of the screenshot faces and shininess. Yeah,
that could be it, because the faces on those 2D models are taken straight from the show.
Yeah.
Well, yes,
that is the case, and that is the case. A lot of models, and ironically enough, a lot of people, sometimes even Victor Tanzik still has a mixture of 3D face models and 2D face models that coincide with each other sometimes.
Exactly, because Victor Tanzik uses the 2010 Thomas models. Now, he did use the sort of workshop / TSI updated 3D face for one short, but that was it. I thought at the time it was going to be that was going to be a permanent change, but no, it wasn't. It was just
I think I heard I think I saw one of his community posts. He said he couldn't get the models working or whatever.
Okay, so basically what happened was his computer crashed because of the amount of because he had the 3D models took so many space, the 3D face models because of their PBR textures. Because of how big the files were, he had to revert back to a certain point, and he pretty much is back on back on Cloud 9. So that's basically what happened.
Also, hello, Sodor's NWR Tales.
Oh yes,
The faces on the models back then, I thought were the official models, but they were instead just screenshots from the show.
well, look at the recent or the uncovered pilot.
Yes.
Like
Oh yeah. TSMU can literally tell you what his reaction was when we heard the news.
Oh man, yeah, I can tell you all about that.
Please, oh please, I'd love for you to
So I
reminisce
remember
of the past.
I was in a call with Greg here, and I was just looking on the wiki. I was just on the wiki. I don't even remember what I was really doing, and I went to the Down the Mine pilot page, and then I noticed something a little strange. I noticed that actually I think I might have gotten an email about it.
Yeah,
and that's
it
where
was
I
an
saw
email.
it
You
from.
got an email about it. You got an email that a content moderator had updated the
Yeah,
page.
somebody had updated the Down the Mine pilot page, and then I took a look and saw what they updated, and they said that the release date for the pilot was going to be on May 9th, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like where did you get this information from? Like how do you know that? And so I'm just trying to figure out how this person knew this, and then I go to Twitter and I open up Twitter and I see this post that's talking about the Down the Mine pilot, and it's like, oh, the Down the Mine pilot is going to be released tomorrow, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, we were both absolutely speechless. And the best part too was the fact that the post also had the picture of Ian McHugh holding the holding the holding
Yeah,
the
there it
film reel.
is.
That video has 686,000 likes right now. I've been keeping an eye on its viewer count. Yeah, there's the shadow of Sir Topham of the Fat Controller.
yeah, basically and it was pretty interesting because and some elements I was thinking to myself, why did they cut them out in the final version of the episode?
Right.
Because honestly, if the shot of the mine collapsing was kept and maybe just color graded to match the then maybe it would have
Final
worked. But
episode.
still,
Not Nafford, sorry. Iowa Sodor Film Studios. I don't think the missing coach is gonna be released because there's really nothing left of it. There was only so much they filmed, and then they canceled it because of budget restrict cuts.
Well,
They
I
couldn't-
do know
actually,
I do know
I
that
can answer
some
that question.
people have like the
Oh,
footage.
you can answer that. We can.
I can't answer the
Okay.
question because first and foremost, we remember 5 years ago we got photos of behind the scenes of the missing coach.
From Nick Starwind, right?
Well, yeah, well he it was first reported by Nick Starwind the 7th. Basically, he and then of course actual clips were merged into existing episodes. For example, Better Late Than Never had
Right.
Safe from Scrap, the beginning of it, namely. Now, I will confirm that Cardi Cinema confirmed that we won't be getting the missing coach in its entirety, at least this year.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, James was the first model made for SI3D. Oh, was he?
I'm not sure.
Really?
The missing coach has some parts to it, but I think they gave up at the point where maybe Donald or Douglas being caught by Topham. Oh.
The reason because Britt Allcroft, the reason why at the time Britt Allcroft just shelved missing coach was because she felt it would have been confusing for the younger viewers to distinguish Donald from Douglas.
Yeah, I'll never
since they had
understand
no
how that
nameplates.
was. I'll never understand how that could be a problem.
Well, I don't blame her for that decision. The missing coach is kind of a confusing story.
In a way, I guess. If it does, I don't think we'll be hearing Ringo Starr narration.
I think we will because
we will because
I think I saw Nick Starwind talking about that. Like he theorized that Ringo Starr might have narrated it.
Yeah, because
I think he did. I mean, he was the narrator for the series at the time, so yeah.
Yeah, for
He
the
was talking
UK
about
US
something about,
audience, but now
he was talking about like the scene
Oh.
where Donald apologizes for running into the signal box. He was talking about something about that line that didn't sound right.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. When the Down the Mine pilot was released, the Ringo Starr's narration actually was recorded way back when. It wasn't like a recent recording.
Well,
Yeah,
and
that's what I
we
noticed.
That's what we thought with the pilot too. That's what we
Yeah,
thought with
when
the
I
pilot.
when I saw the pilot, I thought that they had used the original
When you
narration
mean-
for the actual
You
episode.
mean when we saw the pilot because we watched it
yes,
together?
yes, of
Sir.
Of course.
Now, yes, granted, there's been like 1,000 YouTube poops of the pilot ever since. No surprise.
No, maybe 12.
Well, now, of course, one person, and actually just recently, a legend himself has a trained soda now, thanks to my friend Pogmus and myself. That being Driver 3 Joe.
Oh, him.
Yes.
That's
I show.
That's TSMU's favorite person.
I think I think Driver Joe may have reacted to some of your videos, TSMU fan. I think.
Has he?
Did he?
I don't know.
I don't think I've seen
I don't
any.
think he has.
No,
I don't think he has.
Because he reacts a lot to CS188, TV76 Productions, and a few
I
others.
don't think he's reacted to the TSMU's videos. I know TSMU's YTPs, and I know him because he's also been in some of TRXN's collabs and
Yeah,
a
been
couple
in
of
the
other people's
20-minute
collabs.
YTP challenge.
Hey, look who it is! It's
It's
Napper.
Napper Studios.
Welcome, Stanley.
Hey,
Hello.
TSMU! It's someone you know. Two people you know actually.
Hello.
One Nefford Studio. I'd like you to meet the TSMU fan.
Hello.
Hello.
everyone.
know him already.
Sorry, I just
Hello.
wanted to.
No, you're good.
Hola. Hola.
I'm just shocked on something.
From the Minecraft
So-
movie.
Yeah.
Chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey.
Actually, lava.
I'm sorry, I had to let him know.
Oh,
No, come on, Brandon. Don't, please.
Well, you referenced the movie, so
I'm
I have to
sorry.
fit it in.
Flint and steel. Because they're big softies.
I still remember going to the theater to watch that movie. That was crazy. That was the first time I've ever been to a theater that had such an energetic crowd like that.
Yeah,
Did they scream-
definitely.
did they
Thankfully,
scream
not as
chicken jockey?
energetic. Thankfully, not too energetic than what TikTok was going through.
Yeah, there's certain accounts of theater incidents with the movie.
Yes.
Wait, I'm. No. Didn't someone bring a live chicken to the theater?
Yeah, someone
Yeah,
actually
what?
brought a
Yeah,
fucking-
somebody
someone
did
brought a
do
fucking
that.
live chicken.
And if I'm correct, I think someone also in the movie theater brought like fireworks when Steve said lava chicken jockey.
Fireworks.
Somebody
What?
brought
Yes.
fireworks?
Someone
Yes,
brought
I think-
fireworks.
I don't think they brought fireworks. The only thing
I
they
need to
did
get
was
some
throw
water. Hold
popcorn and everything all over the place.
I need to get some water. I'll be right back.
Yes. And speaking
Ah.
of and speaking of the Minecraft
But if you
movie,
saw the aftermath of the theaters, you won't believe it.
yes.
Oh, we believe it.
What?
Oh,
wait! I heard of this. I heard this on SoundCloud.
Oh,
Oh no!
oh
I've heard
no!
this before.
What the hell is this?
I've heard this before.
Toby, what the? Stop! You're making me giddy," said Boko.
Remix.
Oh, you're making me giddy. There's
But
are there two
Boko,
of
you
you?
gonna try chicken jockey?
Are there two of you? Yes, we're twins. I might have known.
Oh, I'm chicken, and his name Jockey. Hey, wait, chicken jockey.
Chicken Josh. Oh,
The moment
Netford,
is Brandon. Oh Lord.
I wish I. Oh no, I think you were here when I said when I screamed at the top of my fucking lungs.
Yeah, I heard. When I was in the chat. That was good. I might have to rewatch the stream to see how loud it was, but for what
Oh, you
Greg said,
should.
Well, don't worry. It's like 5 seconds of you're 5 seconds
Okay,
behind on it.
but wait. In all seriousness, what is the stream all about?
It's basically the
This is
aftermath of the whole Richard Jordan situation.
This is a follow.
And basically
this is a
our-
follow-up for the people who didn't get a chance to yap about it last time.
Yeah, in the basically it's the aftermath of the what happened.
Right. Last time. This time.
Yep. I've already said what I wanted to say about the.
Although
whole
it would
thing.
be nice to keep. It would be nice to have you still be as a guest on the show.
Well, I mean, now I will
And
say
besides,
this.
besides Brandon, besides TSMU, the perfect duo is here. You and me.
Well, I will
We
say
do
this.
make a good
Like
duo.
now, I will say this about my universe.
Sure.
I will say this. I've also done YouTube poops. I myself have a crossover series in the works where the island of Sonar unites with the autonomous robotic organisms from the planet Cybertron.
Oh,
Transformers.
in case you didn't, oh yes, I forgot to mention TSMU. Brandon is literally is a Transformers fan. He's been a member. He's been a long-time member of the Transformers community.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think he does like
I'll be right back.
Transformers.
Well, let's see. I've reviewed figures. I've reviewed the movies. I've reviewed a few. I've reviewed a few continuities over the years.
And he even reviewed the most popular Transformer, the NAFR Transformer, the NAFR Studios Transformer, the best Transformer in the whole series.
Yeah, I also reviewed people's OCs in Tomy form. Just saying. In fact, last year I think I reviewed Trains of Run Productions' OC. Oh yeah, I've also reviewed Greg's OC. I think 2 of his OCs. I think.
I'm back. Sorry,
Hello.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
Oh, we're just talking about my
Yeah, that one was a bit random for me. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Speaking of me and TSMU's perfect duo. Oh, sure. I guess trains.
So you were saying,
Man,
TSMU. I guess you have the floor right now.
I don't know what to say. What do I say? Oh, gosh.
What the?
What?
The TSMU fan more than meets the eye.
Oh my goodness, Brandon! Come on, bro.
Brandon, don't do that. Brandon, don't
What?
do that.
Meets the eye. That's
what are
funny.
you talking about?
Actually, quick question.
Don't change it. Don't change it.
The TSMU fan more than meets the eye.
I actually have
There
a quick
you
question
go.
for everyone. So,
What's up?
to make it a little bit light stream, what did you guys do for the 80th anniversary, if you don't mind?
Me and TSMU, we obviously watched the pilot when it came out, and he made a video of the 80th for the 80th anniversary.
Yep.
Then I made, and of course I made it. Of course, I just kind of watched what other people were making and kind of just, I kind of just hung up. I think it was because wasn't Jared streaming that day? TSMU.
I don't
Wasn't
know.
I think
was
he
he
was.
on the 12th? You mean?
I don't-
Yeah, that was a Monday.
Yeah, he was streaming. Yeah, we were both watching the 8-Bit Drummer. Shout out to the 8-Bit Drummer, by the way, if he somehow sees this.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if he will, but
If he does, well then, hello, Jared. Nice to see you. We were watching his daily. We were watching the Bald Man.
that's like it's a joke in like one of his live streams. He turned on this
Ah.
AI voice for one of his streams, and
he had a
it was like a
text-to-speech
witch
voice.
voice, and it sounded really funny.
Yeah, he had a text-to-speech voice of like a text-to-speech voice that was, I guess, either, I don't know if it was reading the chat or it was just sentient. But yeah, we were watching his stream for the 80th anniversary, so we didn't really, we didn't really do much of that.
that's fine. How about you, Brandon? What did you do for the 80th anniversary?
Well, let's see. Aside from watching the pilot, which I mean, it's instant S tier. The pilot.
Yes.
I have to agree.
Um,
I have to agree.
I thought my prayers were answered. I also made a trio of special videos.
Oh yes.
Ooh.
And one of them actually was an episode based off a musical title from Cedric Afro, The Old Iron Kipper.
Oh wait, isn't that the mashup that he made for Edward and Henry? If I'm correct.
Yes. Basically, I turned it into an actual episode that took place in season 1.
Right. Now, quickly, I wanted to mention still, me and TSMU, we had our last year, but for Christmas we had our first collab with each other. We he had it. On his side of things.
Wait, Brandon.
Yes.
I'm back. Sure.
I was gonna say, we had our first collab on his channel. It was the Polar Express. It was why the Polar Express is one of the best Christmas movies of all time.
Yeah, I called it The Polar Express is my favorite Christmas movie. I was just like talking about the movie, like everything about it, like the production,
We were talking about the origins and history of Pierre Marquette 1225, how
the real
then we
engine
talked
that
about the
they
book.
based off of for the movie. It was a really fun video to work on.
Yeah, then we talked about the book, about the Polar Express book by Chris Van Allsburg, to which then it transitioned into about the movie itself, and then we finished it off with some Easter eggs and trivia, which me and him shared. We shared lines with each other, like we talked, like it was kind of a back and forth between the two of us with the script. So
That's
What
good.
if I told
That's
you that there's a sequel to
Oh,
the
yeah,
Polar
by the
Express
way,
in the works?
Brandon.
Oh yeah.
good.
Oh, I
forgot there's a
covered that.
sequel, yeah.
We talked about that. That there's that sequel is not necessary. There's nothing to add on.
Exactly.
Literally nothing
Yeah.
to add on to.
Because actually would have been Christmas 2023 or 24. I actually did a Christmas special called, had something to do with the Polar Express, I think. So, but it was pretty. It was a nifty collaboration that I did on my channel. Basically, it involved Scotsman too. So,
Yes, Flying Scotsman, my favorite engine. Now, for me, I didn't do much for the. I mean, I did one thing. I watched a favorite movie that I love deeply in my heart. Brandon might know this. It's a little film that came out in 2015. I don't know if you might know that. It has something to do with season 1.
oh yeah,
I know what
the
it
adventure
is.
continues.
Yes, the adventure begins. The most. I mean, it's okay. It's not okay. For me, it's perfect, but it's not the best.
Yo, Brandon,
But
can
it's
you
not-
add my phone account, please?
Yes,
Yeah,
I can. Hold on, I'm gonna switch it here.
Switch it around. Switch your Rooney.
There we
There
go.
we
There we
go.
go.
Ah, man.
I guess you could turn your share screen off, Brent.
Oh yes. I was going to do. What was it here? Oh yes.
Wow,
yeah.
and I thought,
also.
and I thought someone I know had too many tabs on their computer.
All right, Brandon. Quick question: what is the story behind that many tabs? Doesn't that like make your computer crash or something?
No,
I'll
it usually would
explain.
slow down. It would slow down your computer. It can slow down your computer.
All right, good. But like, there's like too many tabs. I think you need to give your computer like a little rest.
His laptop.
I don't even
his
have that
laptop
many
somehow
tabs open on
fucking
my computer.
handles it.
He uses a laptop. Good lord, mate. The laptop probably surviving its ass off.
It's probably surviving a whole decade.
The laptop's on life support.
Well, there is an explanation to all of this.
Please.
So, oh yes, credit to Dieselworks 3D for the birth of a publicized Jerome and Judy.
What site is that on? Is it
Yes,
private or public?
So
Well,
basically,
this scenario's taken an unexpected turn.
so let's see. Stories and scripts. A fanfic that I might turn into something later on. References for fanfic, which has nothing to do with a ship that sank in the 1900s. I'll tell you that for sure.
Okay.
And various others. So that's basically the story behind the
Right,
commencement
Brandon.
of
Also,
and weather
you're
alert.
sharing this. You're sharing your full screen again, Brandon. Your voice is echoing this whole time.
Wait, what the?
You're in a cave.
Because you're sharing your entire screen.
All right, hold on.
Echo.
Let's fix this. Much
There
better.
we go.
Now they can see my beautiful.
The
Adventure
Adventure
Begins.
Begins was the most accurate
wanted-
story of CGI. Well,
All right.
unless you count.
All right, I'm gonna be honest. I do love The Adventure Begins, and I still think it's the best Thomas film. But it's just
Yeah.
it could be improved a slight bit. I'm not saying it's bad. It could be improved a slight bit. And I'm not saying Henry in his new shape. Maybe like a slight bit. That's all I can say. Just a slight bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do agree.
But I wouldn't lie.
Especially considering that if you look at like Blue Mountain Mystery compared to The Adventure Begins, the reasons for Henry staying in the tunnel are completely different.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
And then of course there's also the whole. Then of course there's the whole thing where Henry was where there was like the whole flashback of Henry being walled up in the tunnel. Like he mention that story twice. Like there was the story. There was a flashback. There was his flashback from Blue Mountain Mystery, and then there was the retelling of it by Edward in The Adventure Begins. That was the second time that,
to be honest,
Henry's story had been readapted in CGI.
Yeah.
But here's the
To be
thing,
honest-
though. Henry was not in his old shape both times. He was still
Right.
in his new
That's because
shape.
I have a theory.
They probably couldn't model it. If you think about it, they probably couldn't model it because they already had.
I don't know.
Henry that
I don't know why they couldn't. It would be pretty easy. They just have to reshape the change the firebox, remove the things on the side, and then you
But
can
here's the
hold
thing.
Henry.
My theory is for the reason why they didn't give Henry his old shape, probably due to budget reasons. Probably due to that, I guess they didn't have the time to make it, so it just got to be out. Plus, The Adventure Begins, of what I've heard, was on like a time schedule. They had to get that joint out before, I guess, the deadline. I mean, it would have been cool to see him in his old shape, but I wouldn't say that messed up the continuity. That just kind of just feels like it's weird seeing him in his new shape. But that been talked to death, so
that's another thing. That's another thing about interesting too is that I was actually talking with TSMU about this because we watched a YTP on Day of the Diesels. That was funny. But we watched that. We were talking. At least I was mentioning how I think Pinchy is still like I think the animators or the writers kind of gave off the illusion or like gave off the idea that Pinchy might still be sentient or have a mind of his own, even though it's not like Magic Railroad where Pinchy kind of just does do whatever he pleases. Like Diesel 10 doesn't imply, oh, I'm doing all this with my claw. No, it's like Pinchy has a mind of his own.
Yeah,
But then come Day of the Diesels where he's in full CGI, Pinchy, like when Diesel 10 first says hello to Percy, be like, "Hello, Percy. Percy. Yeah, it's been a very long time." If you look at Pinchy, he's literally like gritting his teeth, like the Pinchy's moving as if he's gritting his teeth, like
like it's angry.
Well, I will say this: I did see an edit where Pinchy actually gained eyes.
What? I've seen that one too.
What?
Oh yeah. I think I did see that one too.
Isn't that what
basically like googly eyes, kind of like in season 1?
Wasn't that in a?
Oh god.
Wait, Brandon, isn't that from Epic Lavatos Christmas video though? When Diesel 10
that was the inspiration. Funny enough. Now, of course, the one thing now, even though it's not Halloween yet, we have yet to see a properly trained model of the season 1 truck, officially known as Keith.
Oh,
okay.
Who's Keith?
Well, from that one parallel
If you mean
universe
Keith,
where something called biofusion exists.
Oh god damn it! No!
Oh my god!
No!
Wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm gonna say. You're talking about Mr. Utley. No, don't worry, Mr. Utley. You're among friends here. This is where everyone goes once they become troublesome.
I can't believe Brandon. He doesn't
Hey.
exist.
But
That-
wait a minute. I'm going to say this right now. I am looking forward to the newest movie that's coming out. The trequel of Project G1,
And
which
Shed
is
17.
Sodorland.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
the trequel of Shed 17, Sodorland, and
True.
even better, I recently rewatched Project G1, and at the end of the movie, I realized now I realize where the name Sodorland comes from. When I first saw the trailer for Sodorland, I thought it was some knockoff like a freaking theme park or something. But no, Sodorland is what they called it after the island of Sodor was split apart from the rest of England.
Yeah.
And
True.
its own island where the engines inhabit their own lives. No human is welcome in the island anymore. So
Agree. And if I'm correct,
Nice.
isn't Thomas the president in Soderland too? I remember Paul confirmed that.
I think ironically enough, I think Thomas actually finally got a chance to finally become an engine again, or at least somehow, because at the end of the trailer we see some engine in front of like Duck with the number which just says 1 on the side.
Okay.
There's no other character that would have would be numbered 1 except Glenn, but he's not included. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the old. We're not talking about the coffee pot.
Yeah.
But I
now,
still
will say
exist.
this. Now,
But I'm
aside
not
from
Mr.
that-
But I'm not Mr. Coffee Pot. My name is Glenn.
I'll say this. Speaking of Halloween, Luca, I've got your messages about your requests for the Kildane experiment, and they're before bodies. Still
Yeah.
working away at them as we speak. I am working furiously trying to mishmash the parts together.
All right, so what's the story behind the Kildane experiment? I know a little bit of it.
Oh.
I know it's based on the Halloween engine from the hit era, but I don't know, like, yeah.
A lot of us here know about the Kildane experiment. The
Even I do.
Basically,
TSMU,
the Kildane experiment is like Frankenstein on wheels, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, TSMU can help me explain with this too, because I believe you've seen that, haven't you?
The Kildane experiment? I don't think I have.
The Kildane experiment is an adaptation, is a well-known adaptation story. I don't know who made it. I know Richard
22
Jordan
Tesla.
didn't make it, thank God. 22 Tesla. Thank you.
Yep.
It's an adaptation. Essentially, it's essentially think of the Ghost engine that weirdly shaped Gordon that was recolored for the
That's it,
for the
yeah.
episode.
Oh.
But instead of but it's basically, I guess, let me try to think. Basically, the character that the Kildane experiment is kind of, I think it's supposed to be like a take on the Russian sleep experiment or something.
You're
Well-
not far off, but it has to do with something else.
I think.
Basically,
show us one of the adaptations. I guess.
I'll show you.
Brandon.
It's
wait,
in actually one
wait,
of these videos
wait.
I did.
Wait, I got an idea. I got it. Hold on. I'll share
Here it is.
my screen. Hold on.
So watch. Here he is.
Oh, there he is.
Oh my God, help me, said James.
Wait a minute. Whose music is that? Whose
Oh,
music is
that
this?
was a Five Nights at Freddy's parody.
Is that? Wait.
there
What
it
song did you get it? Wait, what song is it?
That would have been the song "Never Be Alone."
Yep, there it is,
Oh.
down there.
Yo, Brandon,
Okay,
could
yeah, I thought I
you
recognized
possibly watch my music video?
I was gonna share my screen and show Train Boy 7's adaptation of it.
Okay, then we can do that.
Okay, well,
afterwards.
but
Sure.
yeah, but
Give me a
essentially,
Hold
Hold
on.
on.
continuing on.
Oh,
Oh my God, help me, he's ugly as hell.
oh gosh, that's an interesting face.
Yeah, basically, it's interpreted like as it's Frankenstein-like. So
Made up by other engines.
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah,
that,
because the experiment itself is basically like, because in the model series it was basically Pilot Gordon's body on top of one of Murdoch's wheelbases is pulling one of the 6 lovely tenders that Henry pulled in season 3. So
yeah.
Did they
Lovely
really use
tenders are amazing.
All right, I'm gonna have to try and do this because this is gonna be a little hard.
yeah. There's also, but we can't forget about another familiar ghost.
Oh,
Here, I'm sharing my screen.
oh,
Oh, the half engine, yeah. I forgot.
oh boy!
Oh.
Can you
I know
guys
who
see
that
my?
is.
Is my
I
share
know who
screen
that
on?
is.
Wait,
Oh, there's Afton.
I always come back.
The Wandering Code.
I always come back.
Not that Afton, bro.
Hey, I
But
said it.
it is
I
based.
said it.
It is based off of. So there might be a sequel to Wandering Coach this Halloween. Never know. I haven't spoken to 22 Tesla in a while, so. But it said, oh yeah, so. Oh right. Hold on. We'll switch screens. Here you go.
Okay, is my share screen on now?
Yeah, it's on your screen. So
Okay, here. This is the adaptation. Credit to Trainboy7 for this video because this is his adaptation.
yes. Let's see.
All right.
Oh yeah, this is how it starts. I don't think we could hear anything.
I can't
Wait,
hear
what?
anything.
I can hear it on my end.
My share screen. This is a problem because of the fact that that I'm not able to share my I'm not able to share my one tab.
Oh.
Ooh. Tell you what. If only this was like something on. If only I could. Wait a minute. I'm okay. Let me see. TSMU, do you mind? TSMU, do you mind if you? I'm gonna send it to you in DMs. Do you mind if you I don't know, download it so then I can share my tab, my a video file tab, so it would be easier maybe.
All right, I got it.
Yeah, because TSMU usually he'll download stuff whenever it comes to certain things he'll download it. He has the pilot archived. He has a lot of episodes archived just in case.
All right, let's get this down. All right, there we go.
Work in progress, guys. A work in progress. Don't worry. We're making progress.
I don't know how long this is gonna take.
If it takes a minute, don't worry.
And the Butterboy has returned.
Yeah, Brandon.
Yes.
He's Brandon. TSMU is downloading the Killed-In experiment, so I can share it as a video file instead of it being sharing my entire screen because
Okay.
I guess they couldn't hear it. So
alternatively, I can show you my adaptation. And that's fine. I mean,
I think it would be good because Trainboy, ironically, Trainboy7 commented on one of TSMU's videos, and he never knew who it was until I told him.
That's right. You did point that out to me.
Because Trainboy7 Productions made the iconic YTP Thompson and Hale's jet engine fumes.
Oh God.
Oh that guy. Okay.
Yeah, TSMU.
All right, I've got the video downloaded.
Okay, and then I guess just send it to me so that I can save it
DM.
and make it a video file. Okay, thanks. I'll look. Yeah.
But essentially, now coincidentally, my adaptation got almost 1,000 likes.
Dang.
Nice.
That's good.
So it's
Pretty good. Oh, I can tell that those trucks at the beginning were the number one Thomas fan trucks.
Yeah, number one TFM.
There he.
Or
Oh boy,
I
there
forget what
he
it
is.
stands
There
for.
he is. There he
You
is.
sending it TSMU?
Yep, it should be coming in right about any second now. There it goes.
Thank you. All right, I've got it. Gonna get it downloaded, and then I'm gonna be able to share it as a video file. Brandon, we should be back online. It's just gotta get it downloaded. It's just downloading to my file to my computer.
Okay. But yeah, I was just gonna just showing a little bit of on my end here, but yeah, it was fun making this adaptation. Oh yeah, a lot of people commented on how because in the story it mentions that the suspension finally gave way, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
but what
All
I
right, finally, here we go. Here
Oh,
we go,
you made him
guys.
move. You made him come off the rails slowly. You made him come off the rails.
Okay,
Yeah,
Brandon, I got it.
kind of cartoony like, so
Brandon, I got
it was
it.
really fun nonetheless.
It's a video file. It's a video file.
It's a video file. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me.
Here. How do you do that? Okay, here you go.
There you go.
Here you go. Just let it play.
Now you should be able
Hopefully,
to.
it has
you should
audio.
Be able to,
It should be able to work. We'll see.
Oh, okay. See.
This is
And here's
new, by the
Bailey.
way.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
there we go.
it
The
works.
sun was
There we
setting
go,
as
now
James
it's
popped down the
working.
main line with a line of trucks in tow. The trucks were filled with scrap,
Oh, that's
all
pretty
bound for the ironworks at Kildare.
Everyone, mute your
A
microphone.
recent cleanup at Nap Docks had turned up a lot of rusted track and machinery that hadn't been used for a long time. And James had been rostered to take it, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. He had been hoping to be asked to take a late night passenger service or, at the very least, have a rest.
I'm surprised you're grumbling, James. Besides, we're full of metal in your favorite color.
A truck called.
Shut up! Rusty red is no color for a splendid engine such as myself. Sparkling crimson red is better.
James snapped back.
I mean, like your nose that one time with the bees.
Another truck laughed. James wheeshed and snorted onwards, eager to put this job behind him once and for all.
James arrived at the scrapyard just as the sun disappeared over the horizon. The air grew colder as he puffed closer into the smelting shed.
Brr. I really don't like this.
Neither do I, old boy. But a job is a job.
Said his driver. As James came to a stop near the main office, the foreman walked up.
Ah, thank you for bringing us in. Now, I hate to ask, but could you shunt your trucks into the siding over there?
What, me? Why me? I'm not a shunter.
James hissed.
Well, Ari and Bert are still being repaired. Some bad fuel this morning wrecked their engines. Thankfully, Thomas brought some later. After the repairs, they'll have the fuel to work with at least.
He said before heading back to his office. James grumbled dreadfully as he shunted the train into the sidings. The trucks tittered cheekily as he did so.
Hey, look, guys, the new shunter. Can't be. This shunter is a big fat tender. And you know what they say? Tender engines don't shunt.
Be quiet.
James snorted as he bumped the trucks into the buffers.
Truck's giving you a hard time?
Said a voice. James looked over and saw a young man with a backpack standing near the line side. He had a camera in one hand, and his attention was focused on the small screen. James looked down at the lad incredulously. He was used to train spotters, but at this time of the evening, and in a scrapyard, he found it a bit odd, and he really wished he was pulling something more splendid than dirty trucks and dirty sidings.
Yes? Now, pray tell, what are you doing here? This is private railway property, you know.
Oh, I know.
He sat his camera down and pulled a high-visibility vest from his bag.
I have permission from the manager to record here as long as I don't do anything foolish. I'm here working on a project for a university. The Spirit of Steam.
He said. James looked at the young man curiously.
What kind of spirit do you mean? You're not talking about ghosts, are you?
I am.
Said the young man.
There have been many ghost sightings in photographs over the years. Such things as ghost orbs or even shadow figures showing up on digital photographs or on CCTV video footage. Where most people go to graveyards or old houses to find ghosts, I felt I'd try my hand at finding the ghosts of engines and rolling stock here. If none show up, I'll work on something else.
James rolled his eyes. The very idea of ghosts was absurd. Sure, he had thought he had at times seen spirits, but those had been turned out to be real things, like Percy covered in ice or something else.
Well, you better be careful. A scrapyard is nowhere to play around, even at night.
James's driver explained.
I know. That's why I asked the manager. He said as long as I don't climb on piles of scrap metal, keep my safety vest on, and follow the safety guidelines, I can film here while it's closed.
The young man then picked up his camera and snapped a picture of James and his crew.
One for the memories,
he said, chuckling. Then he wandered off into the mist.
Strange lad,
James said.
I think it's interesting. I hope he's not too disappointed if he finds nothing,
said the driver. Soon James was uncoupled, and he began to puff out of the siding. Suddenly there was a clang, and his wheels left the rails. They bounced along the sleepers for a moment before his driver put on the brakes.
Bust my buffers! What happened?
James asked. His driver got down and inspected.
Some scrap metal must have tumbled off that pile onto the rails. You hit it and off you went.
Oh, brilliant! Now what are we going to do?
The driver and fireman headed to the office to speak with the manager. They returned with bad news.
The breakdown gang won't be here till tomorrow, James. You'll have to wait here for the night, I'm afraid.
Oh, lovely!
James hissed.
I was looking forward to a rest in my nice warm shed.
And with that, James's crew left and went home. The smelter still hummed with activity behind him, the graveyard shift working into the night. Eventually, James felt his eyelids drop down, and the red engine fell asleep. A sudden hiss suddenly roused James from his slumber. He opened his eyes and looked around. The fog had become thicker, so thick that he could hardly see anything. Even the shapes of the buildings and trucks were lost in the gloom. Suddenly another hiss echoed in the yards. Only this time, it was accompanied by the sound of groaning metal.
Hello? Is someone there?
James called out. No one replied. Only the sound of more hissing. And this time, puffing. Only the puffing sounded different each time. It sounded like 3 different engines, but each puff sounded like it was coming from everywhere at once. James felt a wave of nerves roll along his boiler. He felt surrounded all around, and what was worse, he didn't know who was surrounding him. Then he felt the ground shudder. Something big was coming. It had to be another engine, but in the fog, James couldn't be sure. The chopping and rumbling and screeching came closer and closer. Then, out of the corner of his eye, James saw a shape move in the fog past him. In the dim yard lights, it just looked like a dark shadow.
There he is.
The chopping was louder than ever, and the metal screeching sound, the sound of rusty wheels turning, sounded almost alive, like cries and moans. The shape moved past him, and then suddenly vanished. James gulped and closed his eyes tightly.
It was just a dream. Just a dream. Just a dream.
He comforted himself. Soon sleep closed in again, and James drifted off to a dreamless sleep. James was soon derailed and taken to the works to be looked over. After the inspection, the red engine was asked to take a passenger train when he got back to Knapford. The run helped ease James's nerves, and he soon forgot about what he thought he had seen. A few days later, the young man came to see James and his crew at the sheds. He was there to show them the pictures he had taken.
Check this one out first,
he said as he passed them the photo he had taken of James and his crew. In the photo, they saw James and his crew with the smelter shed behind them. But next to James, with just a corner sticking out, was a faded-looking tender. It wasn't very clear, and it was a little transparent, like it had passed by the camera too quickly to be clearly captured.
Now what's that? It looks like an engine's tender.
I was the only one there.
James said, rolling his eyes.
Your camera must be faulty or something.
And that's not all.
The young man continued. He had brought his camera to the crew. The display screen showed one of the sheds in the ironworks, one of the yard lights, and piles of twisted scrap. It was all barely visible through the thick fog, the young man quickly explained.
I was messing with some of the settings and forgot I'd switched it from picture mode to film mode. I tried to take a still picture, but it wouldn't click like it usually would. So I took out my second camera and went to photograph something else. I was only away for a few moments before... well... watch.
He hit play on the camera, and the film played. The picture shuddered as if the camera was sat down. The voice of the man bemoaning his apparent misfortune, followed by the sounds of footsteps scurrying away. Then another sound came, a kind of puffing noise, followed by screeching metal. The screeching sounded intensely pained. James felt a cold shiver run down his back, and his mind thought back to that night as memories resurfaced. Then a big engine puffed across the screen. It was covered in rust, and had holes in its boiler that showed the boiler tubes. It rolled with a soft puffing sound, which at times sounded like 3 different engines at once. As it puffed past, no fire could be seen in the smoke box. The only light seemed to come from the little red tail lamp on its tender. Slowly, the engine rolled away from the camera, into the darkness, its red tail lamp the only thing in sight. Then the light flickered off, like someone had just flipped a switch.
I later came back and turned the camera off, but you saw it, right?
The young man asked.
Yes, we did,
said the driver.
Are you sure you didn't alter this video?
James asked, his voice quivering.
What? Why do you think I would do that?
You university kids are too clever. That engine might be nothing more than a broken old model toy being pushed through a model railway set done with fancy editing.
I'm serious.
The student insisted.
While I may be clever, I'm not this clever. Besides, didn't you see the engine? It didn't look anything like in any train spotter's book.
What do you mean?
James asked.
Does it look like Gordon, only with too many wheels?
Came a voice. The group turned to see Edward looking over towards them. The old engine had been quietly building up steam while they had been talking.
Yes, it did. I had to play the video back on my TV to see it better, but I did see more than 3 driving wheels on this engine.
The student said. Edward looked down at his buffers and sighed.
Oh dear. Seems they are still around,
he said.
They? Who are they?
James asked, curious what Edward meant.
Well, they, for lack of a better word, are known as the Kildane Experiment. A tragic tale that took place long ago, and one that no one at the smelters dare speak of.
The group looked on as the old engine continued.
The Kildane Experiment began in 1966. Following the second act of the Beeching Acts, many engines were withdrawn from service and scrapped before their time. Young engines sent to old sidings to rust away and be cut up. It happened so quickly, scrapyards on the other railway became filled to capacity. It was because of this that some trains of scrap came to Sodor for processing. This was before our line became a heritage railway. That summer, a young but eccentric engineer from Crovan's Gate came to the scrapyard looking for work. Following this young man's employment, strange things began happening. Workers would sometimes come to begin cutting up a scrap engine, only to find that someone had already started, as many parts were missing. Soon it wasn't just parts, as a whole scrap engine vanished once. For a time, no one could explain what was happening. It seemed as if the engine ceased to exist. Even receipts recording their arrival at the scrapyard would vanish. Police would occasionally patrol the scrapyard by night, to keep watch for any break-ins, but none were reported. We were soon to find out what became of those parts. It was during one night when I just arrived with a delivery of petrol for the generators. We were just shunting them into their siding when suddenly there was a scream from one of the nearby sheds. The front doors flew open, and out came the young engineer, badly burnt. Before anyone could ask him what had happened, something big puffed out of the sheds in a cloud of steam. It was a monstrous-looking scrap engine. It had no face, just a rusty smokebox door. Its boiler and cab were from an A1, mounted crudely atop a 9F's chassis, pulling a rusty old tender behind it. Steam hissed and smoke billowed from its funnel and from its cab, which seemed to glow bright yellow. The hissing was pained, and at times it sounded like 3 engines puffing at once. The monstrous creation slowly puffed its way down the siding before coming to a stop on the points, when its corroded suspension springs finally snapped. When the paramedics and the police arrived, they asked the engineer what he'd been doing. He said he was trying to create a new engine that could revitalize steam on the mainland. He'd gotten a hold of the engine parts from the ironworks, using the place as a parts shop where he could scrounge up all the spare parts he could ever want. During his days off, he would sneak into the yard and steal more engine parts to complete his project. He managed to steal the complete scrap engine using a heavy hauler lorry owned by his brother, Frederick Packard, father to Jenny Packard, in fact. To hide his work, as he knew that all this scrap would be very valuable, he stole and altered receipts from the office to make it seem like no scrap engines had ever been delivered or engines arrived with fewer parts. He'd been in the process of test firing his creation when the water glass burst, spraying scalding steam and water all over him. His goals were terrible and foolish, and for his trouble he would endure many painful surgeries that would end up costing him the use of one of his hands and a lifetime of horrible scars. I sat nearby so I could provide my testimony. During this time, the scrap engine made many terrible noises as it cooled down.
New.
Sometimes it was a murmur, other times it sounded like screams. The screams of 3 voices calling out for their end to come. The mess of engine parts was soon dragged away and cut up. But it seems that isn't the end,
Edward said, pausing. The men and James stared in shock at the story so far, and while they didn't know what to say, they had a feeling they could tell what would be coming next. Edward then continued.
Workers would say that they heard the sound of hissing and clanking around the yard during the night shift, like the sound of 3 engines puffing at once, but it wasn't just puffing sounds. Voices crying out for the end to return, that their rest had become disrupted. I am dead. Awaken me, or let me rest, for I was, and I am.
Oh God.
The voices would cry. It seems that engineer, and using whole parts of deceased engines, disrupted their rest, and now they roam the smelter's yard seeking for their end to come. But it never will.
James and his crew looked at the student, who just stared at his camera. His face was still a stone, taking on an ashen appearance. He eventually looked up.
Well,
He said eventually.
I guess my video was a success.
James couldn't help but silently agree. Eventually the student left, and he puffed away to pull another train. He did so quicker than usual, almost as if he was eager to take his mind off of something. For weeks to come, the red mixed traffic engine shuddered at the sight of scrap trains. No one asked why, and no one would ever know why. No one but Edward.
Wow. Wow, that was an interesting story.
Quite the adaptation, I must say.
Man, there we go. That was pretty good.
That was.
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed. It's really
I
good.
swear this adaptation is just the start, in my opinion.
It's a pretty good adaptation.
I'm
But what if I
not gonna
told
lie.
you?
I'm not gonna lie. I agree. It's good. Like really
Yeah.
good.
So basically,
Surprised I've
quickly,
never
I'm
seen
up.
this before.
Happy Halloween. Well, technically May. It's not Halloween, but happy late Halloween. I'll just say that.
Yes.
Wait,
All right,
can
that's
you
good. That's good. Not bad.
Think you
can
All right, so
you
the
play the
basically,
music video I was talking about?
There you
so
go.
the
But
basically,
essentially, yeah, that was a pretty good adaptation.
all right.
Wait,
But
but
hold
So
on,
hold on.
Brandon.
basically, some are
Hold on, Brandon. Hold on. Before you share your screen, let us all have a chance to say our thoughts one at a time.
Oh yeah, right.
Of course.
I think we'll start with TSMU fan because he's right above me.
Okay,
Alright.
starting with me. Now that was very interesting. A very interesting take on the scrap engine from the Halloween episode. Like the one, of course, called Halloween. Like that is a very interesting way of like explaining like where the engine came from.
Yeah.
And of course, like in the typical fashion of like it's ambiguous at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
And
very, very good. Very creepy.
and for me, I have a play. I have a playlist of like solo ghost stories, and I think I have like a couple of different versions of the adaptation of it made by that was made by of the adaptation by 22 Tesla. Now you see TSMU. This is always It's always interesting. People make the adaptations, but the narration is always usually the same because it's like it's the source of the audio narration from 22 Tesla that he made. Everyone uses the audio narration, but they make the story. They adapt the story in their own ways or with their own takes on it. So
Essentially,
but
yes.
from what I really like about this is that it's the standard thing of Jane of like a character that is doing kind of what he dislikes all the time, and then he goes there and he kind of just gets something just conveniently happens that makes him stuck, that keeps the character stuck there. Like he just ran, like as he's just about to leave, he comes off the tracks almost like magic, and then he has to, encounter.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was like he comes off the tracks. There's like a piece of scrap or whatever. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like the ghost engine like trapping him there or something
Yeah.
and being like that kind of
What
thing.
I really like too is how the editing of Train Boy Seven's version, how like with the guy with the student with the camera, how he shows like what he saw on his camera, and we actually get the editing there is amazing because it's still edited in trains for the footage, but like the editing is so good, like it almost looks like you're actually looking at something that was filmed on a video camera.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about it. And then it's just the whole thing too with like the engine just like showing up, like you just don't really see anything about it. It's just the engine just goes by the camera. But then when Edward tells the story, we see there's more to the character. Like the scrap engine is literally screaming in agony and pain and suffering, and only to be scrapped, eventually be scrapped, but never got the piece that it deserved. It should have gotten. It wasn't able to move on peacefully, and so and even worse is it actually has a face, or at least supposedly it has a
It does.
face
It
of
does.
agony, a
And
face of pain.
I really liked how we didn't get to see the face until Edward told the story.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I'm back.
Or at least, we did see the front of it when it came out of the shed or whatever. It just had a standard, standard smoke box door. But then after Edward told the story, and then when it was in the form of a ghost, it did gain a face.
Yeah. Also, sorry about that, guys. I'm back.
Oh hey,
it's all right.
I guess Jordan, you can say your thoughts now.
I think, in my opinion, it's a really good theory about the scrap engine we've seen throughout throughout the episode Halloween. I think it's a good way to theorize the actual scrap engine, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's done in such a dark and disturbing way. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I guess Gotcha Tuber next.
Okay. My opinion. The story it's spot on. The animation is good. The scenes for where we get certain shots of the ghost engine slowly puffing by is good. I kind of like that. Especially when it goes into like perspective, like I guess point of view perspective of the Kildane experiment's face when it got the perspective of it coming close towards the camera. That was terrifying.
Right. Yeah, that was. I actually. I think I saw T Train 47's adaptation, but I don't think I ever saw that part. I think I missed that part.
That's okay. But,
and lastly, Knapford Studio.
Okay, so this story is good. I like it. It's really good. Is I gotta give credit to both Trainboy 17 and Tesla 22. Tesla 22 for writing the story and then narrating, and Trainboy 17 for adapting. I like the story because it takes one character. Well, just not even character, just one character from the era, made it into a new story, and gave it like his own backstory. And I gotta say, it's just spot on. It's really spot on. I hope this is why I hope fandom can do stuff like this. Find him like obscure character, make him good, and basically just like that. So this is, and I like the concept of the Kildane experiment. At first, I thought it was silly, but now knowing his backstory, it's really, really impressive. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and especially since in a couple months it'll be Halloween again, and that'll be probably the new opportunity for more Halloween adaptations or even retellings of well-known stories. Well, excluding one individual.
Yes.
Yeah.
What if I told you that there is a sequel to the Kildane experiment story?
Okay.
Made by you, obviously.
Yes. The Kildane experiment roams again.
Let's hope that there's audio working, because I think your screen share had that problem before. Like when we were on before the screen started, Brandon was showing me stuff on his share screen, and he had to actually share his YouTube tab so it could play the audio there.
Okay, that's yeah. Well, let's try to fix that. And of course, all the 22 Tesla stories are free to adapt as long as you credit them. So,
of course,
I don't know. The thing is, in my opinion, before we get started, I was going to say, in my opinion, there's like so many to adapt, but to me, the one that's like ish is Fiddle Yard Fright, in my opinion.
Oh, what's that one?
Now, another honorable mention of story I'll say, which is incredible, is Tsuno Akane.
Oh yeah. Okay, that one. Okay, that one. I'm going to be real. That one has to be my most favorite one out of all of them.
Okay, Brandon, hold on. We can hear your audio. Wait a minute. Wait. Start it over. We want to actually watch it in full. But let's mute our mics. Folks.
All right.
Put it in full screen, Brandon.
Yeah, sure, right there.
Put it in full screen.
Full
Full
Okay.
screen it. There you go.
Sodor is peaceful, yet exciting in the autumn seasons. During the day, the engines would take their passenger and freight trains up and down the line. Recently, James had wanted to forget his recent experience at the Kildane Ironworks. The red engine, after derailing due to a pile of scrap, had fallen off the tracks, had witnessed the ghost of an engine, or engines, roaming the smelters, seeking its end. Edward's revelation to James had him with much to think about and to reconsider. However, much like with many ghost stories on Sodor, there always seemed to be a loose end or two. And one autumn day, James was having a sickening feeling in the sheds of that possibility happening. Sir Thomas had arrived at the sheds, puzzled but concerned for his number 5 engine. "Show a wheel, James. What seems to be holding you back?" James hesitated for a moment, but Sir Thomas could tell something was off. "I take it your recent trip to the ironworks was, well, very eventful?" James froze, thinking back to that dark night. It was then James spoke up. I saw this horrifying-looking engine, sir. It had so many wheels, and Edward, well, Edward? What does Edward have to do with what you are telling me?" Then the station master walked up. "Sorry to interrupt, but there is a goods train that needs to be taken to the other end of the line. Last-minute change, I'm afraid." James's crew wasted no time, and before long, James was steamed and on his way to the yards. He was coupled to the train, and he sped down the line. He kept trying to clear his thoughts, but his mind kept circling back like it was on repeat. James knew he had to talk to Edward before something even worse was to happen. James arrived at Vickerstown and shunted the goods train at the bay platform. A Class 67 diesel left with the train in a hurry without saying goodbye. Thomas and Percy were the only ones at the sheds when James got back, but there was no sign of Edward, much to James's dismay. "Edward is stuck at Brandon Docks with Salty. My driver told me that rain is in the forecast. I sure hope everyone will be fine." James continued to get increasingly concerned. The next day, the rain cleared off, and despite the cooler weather, it made James more and more uneasy. James's driver and firemen were worried for their engine. That afternoon, Sir Thomas was approached by a television producer at Kildane Station. He brought with him his camera. James, who was waiting to leave with his passenger train, noticed this and took great attention to the conversation. "Good afternoon. What seems to be the... Hello, Sir Thomas. I just wanted to show you our recent episode that aired the other day." "Oh?" The episode played. It was titled Halloween. In the episode, it featured Thomas, Emily, Percy, and even James. Sir Thomas got a chuckle seeing himself in his pajamas. "Well, I never," chuckled Sir Thomas. "I remember that night like it was yesterday. And that's not all, sir. I even got special permission from a former university student who saw this abnormal ghost train," and James froze at that moment. The footage was rewinded back to the moment of the quote-unquote ghost train's moment. While it was in a model set area, James felt it was all too real. Or was it? As the footage played, it showed a rusted tender engine passing by the camera through the dense fog, its lone little tail lamp illuminating the presence of the engine. It was all too quick, as it was there for a total of 5 seconds. James instantly recognized who or what it was. Sir! James, calm down. It was just an episode clip, and it's... Edward bustled into the platform, who was dropping off some supplies to the station book office. Is everything all right, James? Sir Tom had gestured to the producer. He played the moment again. Edward was shocked, and then felt sad. You did obtain permission, didn't you? Edward said with concern. Why, yes. I didn't bribe or scam that fellow. His name is even in the end credits, and regardless what Edward saw, was of a nightmare that actually took place in 1966. But there is, well, more to it, shall we say. And this was the story Sir Topham had told. My father, Sir Topham I, or the Fat Director, laid the foundation for Sodor in the early years. In 1966, a workman who was hired to work at the scrapyards at Kildane thought it best to preserve scrapped and deceased engines than to scrap them outright. Of course, these were in times before Sodor became a heritage line. Then a smartly dressed man walked up with Jenny Packard. Edward knew who that was. Good evening to you all. And hello, Edward. Long time no see. Great to see you, Frederick, and Miss Jenny Packard. Edward could tell something was wrong. The engine that you have described and witnessed back in the 60s, Edward. He was spotted at the ironworks, reportedly have given the ironworks twins a fright. James chuckled, but Edward gave a stern look in response. Sir Thomas resumed his story. The workmen had good intentions of bringing steam back to the mainland, but the beaching axe was no joke. The strange-looking engine was scrapped on site, per the orders of the Fat Director. As the years passed, security was enhanced, and background checks were thorough. What about the workman? He surely was sent packing after his surgeries and the loss of one of his hands. He was sacked, of course. Finding other employment was proven difficult due to his track record. He died many years later due to health complications. But I can only imagine regret and sorrow for what he did. Then the guard blew his whistle and James puffed away with his train. None more the wiser, the television producer stared at the footage in disbelief. Call the recreation of the Kildane experiment the Halloween engine, if you kindly please. Will do. Edward puffed firmly away. Sherman and the Packards on board. That evening, the sun was beginning to set into the sky. James and Edward were alone in the sheds. It was then that the old blue engine had made a plan. James, we must find the rest the Kildane experiment seeks. Like how? Calling the Ghostbusters? We will head to the ironworks. We will end the pain peacefully. Are you crazy, Edward? James, listen to me right now. James was taken aback. We don't do something about that ghost. It may pop up elsewhere on the island. Edward was right. James knew this had to be done before it got out of hand. After consulting their drivers, they double-headed to the ironworks. There they saw Ari and Bert. They were cross. The foreman showed that silly television episode. Our betrayals were amazing till the script was flipped, and we ended up like cowards at the end. Well, you're not cowards. We have to be brave. The experiment is coming. Oh, you mean like when we were both spooked by it the other day and... Wait, listen.
Oh.
They could hear the sounds of rusty wheels turning, puffing 3 engines at once. Familiar sounds to Edward and James. Puffing towards the engines was the Kildane experiment. Its whistles long and loud. The mangled engine with its pilot model body atop the 9F's chassis and its rusty tender behind, with only its little red tail end. Its smokebox door. The smokebox door was gone. In its place was what happened to be a contorted face, or faces. Everyone was shocked. Ari and Bert felt sick to their radiators, but James and Edward, unfazed by the vaunted specter, tried to reason. Listen here, Frankenstein. You come near me or my friends, I swear on the Bible of Audrey, I will. James, I got this. The
Man, don't piss him off.
Edward looked directly at the ghost.
Mute the microphone, please.
I saw your first and only time in steam. Well, I saw the intent with that worker trying to save you from being scrapped, but he did it behind everyone's back. You've been haunting these very ironworks since your demise back 68 years ago. Now, this is where you find rest. The very rest you have been wanting to find for your end to come, at last. There was dead silence. No one, not even the drivers, made a move. Then the Kildane experiment slowly puffed towards Edward. James was getting frantic. Edward, reverse! Reverse, do something! Edward remained perfectly still. He closed his eyes as the experiment puffed through the old blue engine's body, almost like their spirits intertwining. Then it faded away into the distance, disappearing into the darkness forever. Everyone was at a loss for words. Even Ari and Bert were shocked. When Sutaman and the Packards heard about everyone's heroics, they were all pleased and relieved that the Kildane experiment would no longer be haunting the Ironworks or Sodor for that matter, ever again. The Ironworks is still a place most regret visiting or working at. Ari and Bert are still their gruff, cheeky selves. James had regained his confidence, but is still mindful towards scrap trains, not as much as he used to. As for Edward, he was given high praise from all the engines. Even Boko, Bill, and Ben were impressed. Well, Edward, I guess we can call you a ghost, Tamer now. Well, I do like that. I just like being wise old Edward. Everyone respected what the wise old engine said. That night, Edward took a moment of silence for what happened in 1966. His resolve in ending the Kildane experiment's haunting of the Ironworks, and his unwavering resilience to helping James and Sodor, for that matter, in bringing closure to a ghost engine who finally met its end.
Wow.
Wow.
It was pretty interesting.
That was
Wow.
a good story.
Nice sequel, Brandon.
That is, I didn't even know. I feel like this is really good closure for that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would imagine 22 Tesla using this.
Well,
I would hope
funny
he
enough,
would.
since speaking of 22 Tesla, he did comment on it.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yes. He said, nice tie-in with the university students' footage being used for the episode, and its name be called the Halloween Engine, a nice closing with the Kildane experiment to find their peace in the end.
I like that.
I like that one too. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good comment.
Well, let's see. Oh, now I remember. Hold on. Now I remember because I was thinking about it. The things that I was going to mention before, because we're still talking about Richard Jordan still.
Yes.
There was in the last stream or the one we made yesterday, or the one that was made yesterday that a few of us were in. I mentioned that T1E2H3 would have no choice but to make a post or talk about it, considering Alfred was a part of his videos. And well, as no surprise, at least to me, no surprise at all. He in fact did. TSMU was the one who showed it to me.
Yeah, I saw it on his Twitter.
This was during while we were watching the Bit Drummer last night. So
Trust me, when Thompson number 203 is about, basically what I'm trying to say is when Thompson number 203 heard about it, he was fucking furious.
No doubt.
He was.
No doubt.
Yeah.
That's what. That's
I mean,
what
from what I've heard from people, Thompson number 203 has short temper apparently.
Well, he's pretty sensitive to many things, and of course everyone's different from one another. Now, I will say, and I'm not surprised that I'm glad that he's going to refer to Alfred as 9462 from now on in his videos. I'm not surprised. So
I mean, he is a good guy. I mean, Thompson
very
203 is a very good guy.
He's one of the reasons that a lot of us know certain characters in the community.
Yeah.
Natford Prime. That's my name now. Natford Prime.
Natford Prime. Nice.
I am in my prime. I do like being in my prime.
Nice.
Yeah.
So guess again. I guess. Let's see. There, I will again though. It's just the fact. It's the fact that also I'm just gonna bring this up because I don't really know. Apparently, in some case, some comments or some posts from Twitter, I don't know where it was, but some people are trying to say that. So some people are trying to say that he's innocent until proven guilty. Like what?
Oh yeah, I think I've seen some comments on Twitter. I mean, if they had the time to watch the news report,
Yeah.
What he did, he would not be innocent until guilty.
There is no
evidence is
proven
overwhelming.
innocent. There is no
Where
innocent until proven guilty. I think it's some comment. I think it's from maybe one of the news reports on YouTube or comments. I don't know.
I've seen a few comments on YouTube about that saying the same thing.
like-
Innocent to
Yeah.
But there is no innocent until proven guilty. He's already been convicted.
Yeah, he's getting convicted, but he did get arrested.
Well, whatever. My point still stands. He's been arrested.
he even surrendered his license under his own appeal. Like his like he surrenders his doctor license, his driver's license, his Thomas license, his other license.
Thomas.
Come on, Brandon, be serious. Come on, there's no Thomas license. You think there's gonna be a DMV?
Thomas license. That's funny.
What is this? What is this? The DMV?
All right, you are getting your Thomas privileges revoked.
I'm Wait. I'm banishing you to the Shadow Realm. No.
Oh gosh, the
Much-
Shadow
much-
Realm.
Okay,
Much better.
Okay,
Much better.
but on a more serious. But hold on, I was going to say like a long message that I had in mind. So
Oh, sure.
back to the serious part. The news about him is horrifying, and there's no soft way to put it. And it's not just like small allegations, neither misunderstanding nor drama, but some people need to rethink their priorities. If your first question to all of this, when he has like done some sexual harassment, saying what's going to happen to Alfred. I know, I'm sorry, I'm being so specific.
Like, this is the thing that pissed me off a little bit. When people ask,
sorry, go on.
No, it's okay. When people ask, like, oh, what's going to happen with Alfred? Or, oh, can we not use, listen, Alfred's not the biggest problem. The first thought we should be thinking about is the victims, not Alfred. Exactly. And apparently in the fandom, apparently a lot of people are not using Alfred. Like, for example, a lot of Trains users, like Sheffield Production, for example, took away his Alfred Trains 2019 Alfred model, and so many. So we shouldn't be worrying about Alfred. It's the victims we should be worrying about.
Well, yeah, that's what a lot of us have been trying to say. Like, yes, the victims of this are the priority, but then we'll cross that bridge with Alfred officially once that time comes. Now,
I don't know, Brandon. I don't know, Brandon. I mean, a lot of people are kind of like not wanting to use Alfred because, let's be honest, if this was like another Thomas fan who was just exposed being a bad guy, just being a jerk to people, and don't use their character, I can understand it. But what Richard did was an actual crime. It's not like...
I could say the same thing about someone else, but that's another story. But what I will say is this.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Like, I will say this. Now, as I mentioned in the last stream, SI3D Reborn just rebranded themselves today.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, they're called Sudrian 3D, something like that.
Sudrian something.
Or something, I think.
But the thing is, like, now, Stevenson and many others, we were in the VC and we were just, and I was there for the whole process. Like, and sure enough, they're still going to do 06 style content, but they're just going to, they're just going to rebrand everything. They're not going to mention anything about Sean O'Connor, or Richard Jordan, or even like, or even Scarlet 123, even though he's one of the same, but still, like,
yeah.
Okay, but can I continue?
Hold on. I had something I was gonna say. I sent this. I just remembered. I sent this to TSMU last night. This is a tweet that's from the Bogey Boy on Twitter. I'm not sure if any of you saw it. He says the following.
I remember seeing it, but I didn't read it.
Hold on. Just let me read it for the people who didn't see it. He
I
says,
saw it.
hello. Due to the recent revelations in regards towards Richard Jordan, otherwise known as Scarloey123, I have ultimately decided to cancel my planned large-scale summer project. The project, which was meant to be an adaptation of the story Thomas and the Old Oak Tree, will cease production starting tonight, as I do not feel comfortable with producing the project given the severity of what has been revealed. My adaptation of The Secret Benefactor will remain up. However, Old Oak Tree will not be released. I apologize to all those who are looking forward to seeing or being a part of this project. To hopefully make up for this, I will be redoing my Season 2 Bullseye adaptation I started in mid to late 2024 to match up with the quality of my previous Season 2 style projects. I again apologize for the cancellation of this project, but again, given the severity of what has been revealed, I am not comfortable with starting production on the video. Thank you, the Bogey Boy.
Well,
Okay.
that's all right.
I can't
Yeah.
blame
But wait, hold on. Wait, can I continue my thing, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So, like, let's all be honest. This extremely hurts. Like, Richard wasn't just some sort of guy. He was a doctor, a husband, and a talented role to many. Some even knew him personally. And you know what? It's fine and okay to feel betrayed and confused. It's okay to mourn the art he created or the role it played in our lives. However, grief doesn't mean denial. You can't just separate the art from the artist if doing so means ignoring victims or pretending nothing happened. Accountability comes first. Healing comes next. Only then we could talk about what to do with the work. Even if his content never seemed harmful, intent doesn't erase impact. When trust is broken, this severely. We must respond with more than just nostalgia. We need to all process about what happened. Yes, it's very uncomfortable. It's just understandable. It should be. Growth happens when we sit in discomfort and ask, what do we want to stand for now? Being uncomfortable is the first step towards doing what's right. If you like Alfred, the '06 models, or his stories, you aren't a bad person. Just don't let your love become a shield that protects someone who hurts others. Loving
Right.
loving something someone made doesn't mean you have to defend them once they've crossed the line. It just means you're human. Sometimes letting go of something you once loved is like an act of self-respect and a way of showing solidarity with the victims that got hurt. I get that for a lot of you, it's a hard process, a really hard process. Trust me, I understand everyone's conflicting emotions, but ignoring what he did won't protect anyone. It only makes it easier for predators to hide behind their work. The
Right.
legacy, yeah, and sorry if I'm taking forever, but the legacy
Take your time.
may
Take
be tainted, but the community doesn't have to be. This moment doesn't have to define the entire fandom, unless people choose to sweep it under the rug. This fandom is just more than just escapism. It can be a place to heal, where people can care for one another even when things get rough. The best fandoms survive terrible moments when they respond to situations with honesty, compassion, and justice. And fandoms aren't just about what we love; they're about what we value. To make that our statement standard, we have to ask ourselves: do we care more about creators or communities? About comfort or justice? We're more than one creator's legacy. Way more. We're a community filled with so much creativity, kindness, and care. And we can choose to grow from this. We don't need to burn everything he made to the ground. What we need to do is rebuild with care by lifting up safer creators. We can choose to make this place something safer, more thoughtful, and more inclusive for everyone, especially for the most vulnerable among us. We can all grow together. Alfred was a great story, but so is accountability. So is choosing to be the kind of people who don't look away. Look away. We can tell new stories, better, safer, kinder ones. And I would like to conclude by saying, let's be the kind of fandom that leads with care, holds people accountable, and still makes space for joy, imagination, and healing. That's a legacy worth building. And if you want to donate to the victims, I'll send the link later on.
Wise
Well
word,
said.
train number one.
Well
Wise word.
said. Very well said.
Yes.
Well said. Here, here.
That is very
Well said, Navy. Well said.
Thank
I
you.
couldn't have put
well
it better
said.
myself.
Wise word.
And
Wise word. Wise word.
now listening to what he said, I might as well say one of something of my own. I kind of had something similar. Like he said, we are a community, and we always stick together no matter what. But there is always going to be something somewhere. There's always going to be something that comes up or becomes an obstacle and may try to get in our way. And all we can do most of the time is just spread the word, tell people to avoid or look out for these people, and hopefully let the rest do its thing. But as a community, we always, yes, that is big true. Thomas is a community, nothing more, nothing less. It's a magical land where dreams do come true. Yes, indeed. But we will all recover from this. We've recovered before. Yes, certain individuals we don't speak of, they sometimes have left a permanent scar on us. But we always come back stronger. And yes, and this is probably, I know it's weird to do this, but I do like to quote the pilot of when it's like, shall we form an alliance?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
United we stand,
together we
fall.
You help me.
You help me, and I'll help you.
Respect.
Very.
That is exactly what this fandom should be.
Of course, the fandoms are meant to be a community of fun and excitement and sharing and whatnot. Not what.
But however, there can be some downfalls, either not agreeing or a creator that you look up to, unfortunately, ended up having.
Basically, in other words, there's always great apples in the tree, but then sometimes there's always bad apples in the tree.
Also, credit to Schutzinger Studios for the original words that I had in mind. My apologies that took forever. My apologies that took forever to say.
That's okay.
That's perfectly fine. We all needed that.
We all needed to hear what needed to be said.
Exactly. Yes. And so, with that being said, that is the end of this stream. Thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to the TSMU firm for joining this lovely occasion. Hopefully,
glad to be
the next
here.
Stream you'll join will be more positive, uplifting sort of thing, because the next stream will be a very special live stream, a live stream that has been exciting, an exciting one at that. So, with that being said, take everyone, see you soon, good night, and I shall catch you later.
Brendan.
Bye-bye.
Wait.